Hello there, today let's take a look at the game called HELLSIGN, which was developed by Ballistic Interactive. I'm going to make a review of this game, but before going further I would like to tell you what this game is about and what you have to do in it. Also, I want to tell you that HELLSIGN is still under early access, and currently you are only able to play the first chapter of the story mode of the game. It's hard to tell the exact date of the full release of this game, though Ballistic Interactive aims to release the full version around the end of 2019. And anything can happen until there, so we'll see how it goes. When the full version of HELLSIGN is out, the core gameplay should be enhanced, and you'll be able to play through all of the 3 story mode chapters, featuring a bigger amount of bosses and over 25 creatures to hunt, more new job locations to investigate, as well with more hours of gameplay. I can tell the base of this game is already done, even though you can only play the first chapter of the game story, as I told you before, since you are already able to feel a complete and immersive experience of the game, as it already includes a good part of the game elements, mechanics and features. These include procedurally generated levels, different NPCs to talk with, several different kinds of items that include investigation, tools and a wide range of weapons and its attachments, 3 bosses and 13 different creatures to hunt, a lot of skills to unlock, a gambling system and so on. Also, if you purchase it during the current stage of the game, you'll be paying way less for it and have access to the whole game in the future. Of course, I'm not telling you to buy it, but it is most likely that the game price will increase once the new story chapters are out, so paying the price of only 1 chapter to try the game already and access to all of the future chapters is really a nice deal. For whoever tries HELLSIGN in early access stage, remember that providing feedback about it can be crucial to improve the development of the game through the time. HELLSIGN is an isometric RPG that also fits under the investigation, adventure, horror and action genres. In this game you are a hunter that has the job of investigating places, find clues and kill strange and scary beings in order to get enough money that will help you with a couple of things. Somehow you got a strange big tattoo in your back that makes you a magnet that attracts supernatural beings, which you will eventually slay. In the beginning you must choose the kind of character you'll be playing with, each character with their own story, equipment and skills. And more things are about to come, like the female character and such, so it's still a work in progress. You'll find yourself in a town with plenty cases linked with the supernatural, where houses were haunted and people were killed. You need to figure out what's behind those cases and eventually clean the area out of evil forces. Follow the first mission steps and you'll find yourself more comfortable with what you'll need to do next. In HELLSIGN there is a good variety of items that you can use or will be able to purchase through your future gameplay, in order to improve the effectiveness or success of your tasks. You'll be able to unlock and purchase better guns, equipment and different kinds of accessories or even traps to deal with the situations you'll face in your next jobs. From all the spots you can visit in the map in your early gameplay, you are able to get into the bar where you talk with different NPCs, so you can start working in more cases or remind yourself of how bad you can be in blackjack, if you got any money to play it, of course. Once you get into the first house, the words "find evidence" will pop up in your brain. You are able to use some technology in order to find paranormal clues and the presence of something strange. An MEF or an electromagnetic field meter will lead you to the suspicious object around you, and the black light will make you follow blood trails that will show you the source of evil. You can obtain a few more gadgets later if you don't have them from the beginning already. Make sure to unlock more skills once you can in the skills tree, not only to evolve your character, but also to unlock more items from the guns and baits shop. Plus, you'll carry with you a Cryptonomicon that you can use to study creatures and find out their weaknesses, because you are a hunter and they are your prey. The Cryptonomicon also tracks the clues you've collected, and it's pretty much a source of knowledge about some of the game elements that will allow you to know the details about supernatural beings and all that occult stuff you wish to stay away from. The inventory and in general the whole user interface is player friendly and easy to access and work with. HELLSIGN is not for the faint of the heart. You don't really need to play a horror game in first person to feel goosebumps. The game atmosphere in general is dark, and the gloomy yards where you leave your van at, the discolored rooms of those abandoned houses, the suspense, well, it all fits with the game theme. Plus, the not knowing what's behind that door thought can make it all a little more horrifying. The safe house, shop and bar, that's where you'll feel more safe at, definitely. Now my review about HELLSIGN. When I think about HELLSIGN, I think about a movie where the main character is a detective that investigates possibly haunted houses for a living and tries to get rid of what haunts them for the good of that little town somewhere. He speaks with the locals and tries to make deals out of suspicious things, while still trying to work honestly and risking his life. He goes around the town in a van full of gadgets and survival apparatus and cannot live without his flashlight, because only a very small amount of people in the world do not fear the dark. Plus, imagine yourself in someone's yard without no light at all, thinking that there's an abandoned place with corpses. Corpses that belong to people who were brutally attacked by an evil force, still present in the house possibly. What a nightmare! Even though I personally don't like the supernaturally / evil / occult themes, I like the game concept and what the player has to do to solve the issues that the story of the game offers. Pretty much me disliking the act of mass killing people in Postal, but still enjoying playing the game because it's fun and I can do whatever I need. It's just a game, okay? HELLSIGN kind of makes me want to slowly move away from the screen when I open up the Cryptonomicon tome, but that's another story. The developers managed pretty well in giving this game a scary feel. Moving on. The atmosphere and graphics quality of HELLSIGN are actually pretty good for an indie game under the genre. I also like the theme and the style of it. The story happens around the end of the 80s, so you'll see bits of that era in the game. Even the art of the NPC portraits and the bar zone have a bit of that 80s feeling. I like the feature of fast traveling around the town to do the different kinds of jobs, or get back to the safe house, go shopping, or go to the bar as many times as you wish, without losing much time in between. Surely being able to really drive the van through the streets will be an interesting experience that I would enjoy seeing, but not at all a time saver. The fast traveling through the map feature does not influence this game difficulty, by the way. And by talking on difficulty, HELLSIGN is a little on the hard side. I thought I would be starting to solve mysteries while trying to defend myself from some possible medium and minor threats that will cross my way meanwhile. Only a matter of luck for that to happen in the first hour of my gameplay. Well, I wasn't totally wrong, except for the minor threats part. Even the smallest of the enemies may kill you easily if you are not careful enough, okay? First, let's take note that you can see your character and what surrounds you from above due to the camera angle, and this is just the way the game is. The camera angle and view makes it totally different from a third of first-person view shooter, but also makes the game having a completely different aiming system, which is certain to happen in action games with an isometric camera view. Different camera views and angles in games always offer advantages and disadvantages, but there are things in a game where the camera view or angle has no influence at all. On HELLSIGN, don't expect to know what's waiting for you behind every door. Surely you may see some shadows or a couple of objects that are present behind the walls of the room you are currently at. But that's it. That does not mean anything until you cross that doorway and literally enter the next room. Which means you cannot use the isometric camera feature as an advantage to see what's in the next room, which also prevents the game from becoming easier. And how about HELLSIGN's aiming system? Well, I can tell it was not as easy to deal with as I've expected when I've tried to defend myself from my first enemies. We get it, the aiming is controlled with the mouse, left button to shoot, right button to aim with precision. Pretty simple, isn't it? And it is naturally easy to get used to this aiming system if you ever played in the past games with a similar aiming system. Though I've had some issues to deal with HELLSIGN's aiming system and the combat in general, and I'll be telling you why. On my side, the aiming needs to be a little more adjusted and maybe the crosshair could move a little faster. It is possible that the developers will improve the game systems and mechanics through the time. Just some small adjustments and it should be good then. The dodging is a useful thing to help you defend yourself or escape from the enemy's attacks, though it doesn't seem to be always effective since the enemies can still hit you occasionally. So keep being careful even if you dodge a lot, okay? I think the enemies move pretty fast, sometimes between rooms, and hitting them is at times quite challenging. And there seems to be a tendency to be attacked faster than to attack, so be really aware while you're in combat, especially in the presence of spiders and such. It is very important to carry healing items with you. Reloading your gun and the way your character moves and turns around with the help of the WASD keys and the mouse will also offer some extra difficulty to the combat. Also, there seems to be some sort of penalty once you try to heal yourself. Okay, actually after you heal yourself, at least with injections, you may have your health points bar a little decreased. If you are thinking about trying this game right now, be ready for the grind and difficulty of this game, especially when it comes to face the enemies. Well, one reason for the current game difficulty is caused by the combat and aiming system, and I've clearly noticed that. The other reason for the difficulty of this game may be intentional though, which is okay for me if that's the way the developers want the game to be. Surely an easy game could always become a little boring anyway, but a hard game can become a little frustrating on the other side. My advice is to try killing enemies with a fast gun, or you either start with the game character that owns more than just a pistol as a weapon, or you try quickly just grab some clues or win at blackjack to earn money for a faster weapon, since the enemies you'll face first are a little fast. And in last resort, no matter how much progress you may have done in your current mission, you can always run away back to your van to prevent your own death. Some of the features HELLSIGN has to offer are the different ways of finding clues, detecting strange activity, luring and even trapping enemies. And I wonder if some of these things will make my job of hunting enemies a little easier. Well, you'll need to apply some tactics while hunting weird things, it seems. A part of the unfriendly early game enemy approach situations, I found a starter guide implemented into the different tasks shown on the top of the screen pretty useful and well explained. There is a possible chance that some players will tend to skip part of their current jobs, like not picking up all the clues from one house and making them, just grabbing a few of them and run away from that place once they get attacked by enemies, leaving the job incomplete for a while at least. I actually think it's good we can abandon the current job or mission without harming the character's progress. Let's say you'll pick, for example, 3 out of the 6 available paranormal clues or signs in a house and leave the place without losing the ones you've already got. But it would be better and more profitable, or at least time-saving, if a player did not abandon the current job to do another one. I had to run back to the van a few times once a couple of small creatures attacked me and I was running out of healing items. I basically had to retreat to prevent the penalty that comes attached with that. Dying is really the thing that will negatively affect your progress. While you don't lose your signs or other things related to your current job if you retreat, dying will make you lose about 66.6%, what a number, of your signs and other rewards you've earned previously on that job. So try not to die, and even though you don't know what to expect inside of every house you visit, just try not to die, okay? Sometimes it's a matter of luck too, I guess. Last but not least, about the dialogue between the player and the NPCs. Well, you'll get the story, they'll tell you what you should do next, and you'll usually have in part of the dialogue more than one answer, which means you can kind of choose what to tell to the NPC without the dialogue being too linear. So when you go to the bar, there are specific NPCs you should talk with first, and sometimes you end having to choose certain kinds of answers to keep things going. And there's plenty swearing. Full language in a good part of the conversations between the player and the NPCs, and this sometimes even end to be a little rude or nasty. I kinda laugh a bit, but it's like not necessary. But it's something people may get used to a point when they are playing this game actually. Though I think it wasn't really totally necessary to add the extra full language to this game dialogue, but it's not a big deal I guess. Even though it may make the player to become a little less focused on the conversation subject at times. In general, I can tell the game is not bad at all, but it may not be what you've expected once you try it. But there are differences between watching someone else playing and playing it yourself. It's a different experience, definitely. It always happens with many more games, so I can tell you by my own experience actually. Surely this game may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it is a good suggestion to keep under your radar if you are interested in games of the genre. For now, or you either try it and support the development team by providing your feedback after experiencing the game, or you'll wait for a few more updates with adjustments, that's up to you. I've noticed that the game has been actually patched quite frequently so far, which is really nice. They've been fixing bugs and such. The game has some potential and good stuff can come out of it in my opinion. We'll see how it goes from now on. Thanks a lot for watching until the end. Feel free to leave some feedback in the comments. Bye bye!